Happy Friday. I am King 5, meteorologist Adam Claybon. It's almost the end of the work week, and it's not looking to be too bad of a weekend. We do have rain, and it is going to be cooler than normal, but we do have at least the beginning of the warm-up that we're going to see on the way through the latter part of the weekend. That's going to be with us here as we start off next work week. And yes, we do have rain to talk about too. Saturday, though, looking to be one of your drier days. Today, somewhat dry early on, more rain coming in as we go later on into the day. But let's talk about the warm-up that's going to be coming in first, because that will be working its way in with this ridge of high pressure. You see that across areas of the Pacific. That is the ridge that will be responsible for the warm-up that we'll have later on into Monday, more so Tuesday and Wednesday. This is Sunday afternoon at about 2:30, and you can start to see it's taking over there on the west coast, and then we'll see it start to advance even more farther to the east, and we're getting warmer heading into Monday and Tuesday. That's when we'll really have that area of high pressure firmly in control for the region. So that's going to sweep on through on Tuesday and then start to work its way farther to the east Wednesday. Slight cool down there, more of one to come in as this trough of low pressure does return as we head later on into next week. So there is going to be a brief warm-up. It sticks with us for a few days, and then we start to revert back, I wouldn't say to a winter-like pattern, but it's definitely going to cool down, and it's not going to be quite as warm as what we're expecting. Beyond that point, we're expecting probably a little more of the same. Now, here's the look at what we're expecting for really the next few days. We'll have these showers kind of move in and out throughout today. Most of those chances holding off until the second half of the day and throughout tonight. And we're going to get mountain snow to go along with that too. Not going to be as soggy for Saturday. A few showers around, but generally dry conditions on Saturday. Sunday is when the rain will return, and we're going to see widespread showers throughout the daytime hours then. And we're really going to see the warm-up heading into the start of next work week as highs make their way back into the 60s. And as long as I'm talking about that, while I'm talking about that, let's go ahead and show you what the 7-day forecast is looking like. Lower 50s here next 3 days. There is your warm-up, your spring-like conditions, somewhat Monday, but more so Tuesday and Wednesday. And then we'll see our numbers start to fall back into the 50s heading on into Thursday. Out there right now, up into the mountains where we do have winter weather advisories here at Alpental, Snoqualmie Pass. We're seeing snow coming down as we speak right now. Another maybe half a foot, close to maybe 10 inches of snow will be expected here as we go throughout today and into the night, and maybe early into Saturday morning too before that begins to taper on off. Gorgeous shot right there, a lot of untouched snow. Here looking at Stevens Pass, probably not going to be fun or ideal to drive in. Definitely give yourself some extra time if you'll be doing that, but we do have snow that will be falling down there, and even more snow expected there across those locations. We're going to talk about the difference between Stevens and Snoqualmie Pass and what we're expecting this weekend coming up here in a bit. But a few breaks in the clouds farther north. Bellingham, we see some blue skies there. Generally cloudy, though. Same can be said for Port Angeles, where we did see a little sunshine earlier this morning. Things, though, are now completely overcast. And another look here in Everett, you can see cloudy skies. Really just more of the same for many of us here from about Everett down to Seattle before you get closer to areas of South Sound where it is actively raining here into the early part of your morning. And even with that, we're only talking about a few sprinkles. 46 degrees, cloudy skies. Another thing that's going to be a part of this forecast, the breezy winds currently coming in at about 13 miles per hour. We'll see those anywhere between about maybe 20 to 25 with some of those gusts. Temperatures currently in the mid to upper 40s. There are your numbers across the passes, which are right at freezing. So this is going to be some pretty wet snow here as we head on into the afternoon. Tonight, though, we'll see that start to drop those temperatures down just a little bit before those numbers do start to really ramp up heading on into the latter part of the weekend with the higher snow levels. And here's a look at your radar. You can see that coming on through with just a few sprinkles for those of us here closer to Thurston County, Pierce County, even all the way down closer to Chehalis, over towards Grays Harbor County too, seeing a few areas of rain. Noticing that some of that rain is up towards areas closer to the passes as well. We do have winter weather alerts, winter weather advisories for the, I would say, central and south Cascades from Snoqualmie Pass southward for amounts of snow that could range between about generally 6 to 8 inches. Could be a little more in a few spots, but that is going to be with us until 5 o'clock tomorrow morning. Elevations above 3,000 feet, not only there, but also across the Olympics, could expect those amounts. And then we have higher amounts of snow that are coming in for Stevens Pass and areas north of there, all the way up to the Canadian border, where we have the winter storm warnings until the same time, 5 o'clock tomorrow morning. amounts could be a bit higher. 1 foot closer to maybe 20 inches. It could even be closer to 2 feet in this view. So again, all of this is going to really depend upon more of that banding, but these are just your general amounts that we're expecting, 12 to 20 inches here across those locations. All right, let's talk about what's happening on Futurecast, because we are going to be seeing some pretty heavy conditions when it comes to rain later on this evening. This morning, things actually pretty quiet. By the afternoon, we start to see some of those heavier pockets of rain beginning to build. And for convergence zone activity, farther to the north right here, that's where we could notice maybe some heavier pockets of rain and snow coming down with that. That will be near and maybe just a little bit above Everett. And also seeing some heavier showers down this way too, getting closer to more of South King County and northern Pierce County. All that continuing to sweep through into the first part of the night. Here we are just after midnight tonight, and we see a lot of that begin to let up. And at that point, I think many of us will start to see more of our drying trend on into the day on Saturday, where only we'll be keeping an eye out for more of that convergence zone activity heading up here to around northern Snohomish County and more of Skagit County, with some of the heavier rain in the lowlands and some of the heavier snow that will stick with us here across the mountains. Elsewhere, hardly anything to talk about throughout the day on Saturday, and you can see that really being the trend as we head into the afternoon and then on into the evening at about 5 p.m. Things pick up a little more heading on into the latter part of the night. Here we are getting just after midnight. Widespread rain returning to western Washington for the lowlands, and snow too really ramping up across the mountains. But check out what happens as we go throughout the day. We start off at 9:30. We start to see that the rain is still relatively heavy and pretty widespread at that point. But what you're also noticing too is that we're seeing less and less of that blue color showing up here over the Olympic Mountains. That's because that snow level is beginning to rise, and you'll notice that that continues to eat away at the snow that we're going to see across the Cascades as that warmer air is coming in. So this is 9 o'clock Sunday morning. As we go into Sunday afternoon, 2 o'clock. Even less of that blue showing up across the Cascades, and then on into the night. Really not going to see a whole lot of snow still left as snow levels get up to around 7,000, maybe even 8,000 feet into the earlier part of next week. Still a good amount of rain. We're going to see that come down again for a good portion of the day on Sunday, so that will be more of your washout if you're trying to plan to do something on either of the 2 weekend days here. We'll keep the rain in place into early Monday morning, but a lot of it's beginning to head off towards the south and to the east, and we should be drying out as we head towards the latter part of the afternoon then. Let's talk about rain totals with this while we're at it. You can see those amounts are going to be anywhere between about quarter to maybe 4/10 of an inch from now until Saturday morning. So not a ton of rain with this initial system that's going to be coming on through here tonight and into early tomorrow. The big rain producer will be heading into Saturday night and into Sunday, where we are going to put down anywhere between about maybe 3/4 of an inch to an inch, maybe 1.5 inches in some locations. Higher amounts expected out towards the coast, where we could see 1 to 2 inches of rain during that stretch of time. All right, let's talk about snow levels, because yes, they do start to really come up. So by the time we're heading into Sunday, we're back up around 5,000 feet. But then early next work week, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, we're seeing snow levels up to around 7,000, 8,000 feet. And that's why you're seeing that change from snow over to rain across the Cascades as we head into the latter part of our weekend throughout the course, really, of Sunday. And as far as the snowfall totals that we're expecting, again, we expect the higher totals to be farther north from Stevens Pass northward. Check out the numbers that we're going to see, though, anywhere between 1 to 2 feet. So at about 1.5 feet around Stevens Pass. Baker could get maybe just around some of those same numbers. Closer to about 1 foot, I would say, around Snoqualmie Pass. Farther south there, Crystal Mountain and White Pass should see anywhere between 7 to 17 inches. So going to be a good snow producer, and especially with us now beginning to go into a warmer period here as we head into early next work week. We can pack on as much snow as possible as we head now deeper into the season of spring. Wanted to go back to and show you just one more thing in regards to our winds and how we're expecting that to take shape as we go later on into today and through the weekend. You'll notice that initially here throughout the morning, we're seeing some of those gusts between about 15 to 20, 25 miles per hour. We head later on into the afternoon throughout tonight, seeing those gusts still around some of the same marks. I want to check out what's happening late tonight, though. Here, closer to midnight, this is just before midnight at 10:30, for areas around the Strait of Juan de Fuca, heading over towards Camino and Whidbey Island, especially the northern parts right there. That's where you could see some of those stronger gusts really ramp up, closer to 30, maybe even around 40 miles per hour as we head on into that point. So that's a place to keep an eye out for as we head on into this evening and tonight. No advisories, at least as of this morning, to report on right now because of the wind, but that's something that we'll monitor for you and, of course, to keep you updated as we head on into the remainder of the night. We'll continue into the day tomorrow. Here we are at about 5, 6 o'clock tomorrow morning, and those winds are beginning to come down, and we'll see those eventually begin to weaken as we head into tomorrow afternoon. All right, let's get ahead and talk about those temperatures because we have talked about what we're expecting here as we head on into the next few days as far as rain and snowfall, but here come those temperatures. They get up around those mid to upper 60s, and I think it could even be possible to some locations as we head into Tuesday. We get just enough sunshine. We could be talking about a few spots hitting the 70-degree mark for the first time this year. It'll be very spring-like. If you have any plants or any sort of bushes that you have just planted, or maybe you have some that are just already in the ground, they may start to bud a little bit more on Tuesday. So that'll be exciting. Getting to that time of the year, we have the cherry blossoms on UW. We might start to see a little action when it comes to that too. So we'll see how all of that comes together. Either way, allergies might be impacted a little bit, but it's going to be a warm day on Tuesday. That's what I'm getting at here. Once we get past that day, though, we are going to cool back down, and it looks like we are not going to be staying in that spring-like pattern very long. All right, today's forecast, we are going to top off right around that 50-degree mark, still cooler than normal and still feeling a little bit like winter. And then lows tonight, generally in the low 40s, could see a few upper 30s kind of here and there. Your 7-day forecast, we're calling for highs for the next 3 days in the low 50s. Sunday, your transition day when it comes to the temperatures. We're going to start to see things warm up a bit more there, especially the snow levels. We're going to notice a lot of rain, though. That is going to be your really wet day. And then Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday is when we really start to see things ramp up a bit more with our temperatures. Tuesday being kind of like your weekly winter here for the week, with highs reaching the mid and upper 60s. Okay, everyone. Well, have a fabulous weekend. Have a wonderful time here over these next couple of days. Remember, Sunday is going to be your very wet day, so try to get outdoors if you can and enjoy as much of that outdoor time on Saturday as much as possible. And I know we live in the Pacific Northwest. We know how to handle the rain, and we know how to get out in the rain and still enjoy ourselves. So again, just plan for the rain on Sunday. All right, take care, everyone. We'll talk to you soon. See you later.